Hi all, my name is Callie and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I am a knitter and crocheter that's based in the Midwest in the United States, and today I just want to talk about some of my upcoming knitting plans for this upcoming fall. I know I'm still a little bit early. Currently when I'm recording this, it's July 15th, but I really wanted to get thinking about fall and winter knitting because that's what I'm most passionate about. I like making sweaters and stuff over making tank tops and stuff like that. So yeah, I am going to go over just a bunch of different patterns that I'm looking at, along with stash yarn that I currently have that I'm planning on making it with. I kind of have a pretty large stash. Like I said in my last video, this whole cabinet is filled with yarn, and then I also have another tote that also is full of yarn. So I really want to focus on making things this fall completely out of stash yarn and hopefully not buying a bunch of sweater quantities, because I have plenty of sweater quantities and I don't need any more. So yeah, this fall I just want to work on using what I have. So with that, let's get started with my plans for this fall. Just as a overview of the pattern, I'm going to go over the name of the pattern, the designer, the sizes that it comes in, the weight that it's knit up in, as well as the yarn that I'm planning on making it with. So with that, let's get started. The first plan that I have is a project that I already cast on, and that is the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. It comes in sizes extra small to 5XL, and I believe I am knitting the size medium. Sorry if you can hear the wrinkling in the back, that's my cat. But yeah, this is a project that I already cast on. Like I said before, I'm like really into knitting for the fall and the winter time. So I really am wanting to start making sweaters already. So I said, why not? So I will show you what I have so far, and then I'm not really going to go over what I'm doing specifically in this video because I'll probably go over that in the next knitting podcast that I have. Make sure it doesn't fall off the needles here. But this is what I have so far. I actually just put the stitches on the arms on hold, and I am now just going to be going back and forth. And this is a DK weight pattern, and this is actually a yarn that I've had for quite a while. This is Drops Lima, and it doesn't have a specific colorway. I don't believe. I can look at the ball here. Here's the ball. Yeah, so this is Drops Lima in color 9029. It doesn't have like a name, but it's a sage green color. I think it's a really pretty color. And in case you didn't know, Drops Lima is a wool and alpaca blend with, I believe, if I can find it on here, 65% wool and 35% alpaca. This is my first time using Drops, so I am interested to see how it holds up overall, but I'm really liking working with it so far. And it is a really, as far as like natural fibers go, I feel like it's a really affordable yarn, so I'm really enjoying that. And depending on how much I like it, when I do end up being able to order more, I will possibly buy more of this for a DK weight sweater. But yeah, that is what I have so far. And yeah, this is a really pretty cardigan. I really love 2x2 rib. It's probably my favorite type of like edging on a sweater. I made the Harlow sweater v-neck and I absolutely love the 2x2 rib on all of it. So I'm just really excited to have a cardigan that's 2x2 rib on the finishings. I also don't really have a lot of cardigans that I hand knit. I only have one that I've made previously, and it was something that I made almost 2 years ago at this point. And it's not, the pattern's good. It's a not your grandpa's worsted weight cardigan, but it is a cardigan that doesn't have any short row shaping in the back, so it's a pretty basic raglan construction. And I feel like I've improved a lot on my skills since I've made that sweater, so I feel like this cardigan will be a lot better and I'll get a lot more wear out of it than I did my previous cardigan. But yeah, that is everything for the Eva cardigan. Up next is something that I'm really gonna have to spend a lot of time working on this fall, and that is the holiday doodle stocking, and this is by Jamie Lamax. And this is a DK weight pattern that has a bunch of color work charts that you can follow for different motifs. And it's a really cute pattern. I'm gonna be inputting pictures probably like around here for all of these patterns, just to have like a basic overview of what each of these patterns are if you're not familiar with them, even though a lot of them are pretty well-known designers. But I'm gonna be making 4 of these stockings, which is kind of a lot to get done before Christmas, hopefully. And this is something that I really want to push myself to do to finish. I have made stockings for me and my siblings before, which is who I'm making them for, as well as I'm gonna be making one for my boyfriend as well. But I had originally crocheted stockings for me and my siblings a few years ago. And unfortunately, this last Christmas, my parents' dog got into my stocking, so mine is pretty unraveled, pretty unusable. So I was asked to make new ones. And I also feel like I wasn't as familiar with knitting at all, as well as knitting color work at all. So I'm really excited to do some color work to make stockings for us to hopefully be used for years. I did make a little chart with my name as well as my siblings' names and my boyfriend's names that I'm going to be putting on the top. I'm starting with my first one here. I've already cast it on, but I'm going to start with the 2x2 cuff, and then this little section will have the names before going into different colorwork motifs on the leg of the sock. And yeah, as far as yarn goes for this is yarn I talked about in my first video that I made. This is, if I can find the label for it, I'm already taking them off. This is Plymouth Yarn Encore, which is an acrylic and superwash wool blend, I believe. Yeah, it's an acrylic and wool blend, and I have a variety of colors. For me, I'm doing this dark green color. Yeah, they're all kind of named different. This is color 133. I'm already losing some of the ball bands, but I have a white color, a green, a red, and a royal blue. So these are all the colors I have. And hopefully with these, I'm going to be making 4 stockings. And I have multiple of the white as well, just because I was going to be using the white for all of them. And I'm going to try to just do the one other color. So I'll only have 2 colors in each of the stockings. So mine will be green and white, and I'm assigning a color to each of the people who I'm making a stocking for, if that makes sense. So hopefully it'll just be 2 color work that I'm going to be working through for each of these stockings. But yeah, that is the holiday doodle stockings, and I'm planning on making 4 of them, and that's a pretty concrete plan that I have. So the rest of these plans aren't any that are concrete or actually cast on yet, but I still want to go through them anyways, just because I like talking about inspiration and possible uses that I have for the yarn that I have. I don't know if that made sense, but whatever. So the next plan I wanted to talk about is the sweater number 15 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is a sport weight pattern, and it comes in sizes extra small to 2XL. And the yarn that I was planning on using for this is Juniper Moon Farm Organic Merino. So let's see if I can have a good... It's this really, really pretty color, and this is, I believe, in the color Rust. Yes, it's in the color Rust. And I think I have 4 or 5 of these. But I've been wanting to make a all-over cabled sweater for a long time, and it's not something that I've ever felt confident that I could do. But this is the fall that I want to try. And I think this orange color is just so pretty, and I think it'd be perfect in a little cabled sweater, especially one that's so classic, like the sweater number 15. But yeah, I have had this yarn for about a year. I bought it last summer, and at that time I also wanted to make the sweater number 15, and I still want to make the sweater number 15 with this yarn. It's just the matter of actually sitting down and making it. But I think it can be something that can be done, and I absolutely love this yarn. I used it one other time before. I made the zipper sweater Man Light, kind of off gauge. I didn't realize it at the time that this wasn't classified as a DK, it's a sport, but that's okay. I made a zipper sweater light man for my dad, and I absolutely loved working with this yarn. It's super nice. yeah, it's a non-superwash organic merino. And yeah, so that is my plan. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is just kind of like a filler project that I could have in between some of the larger sweaters and other items that I'm going to be working on. And that's just another pair of the I'm So Basic socks by Summerly Knits. And this is just a pattern that I think is just a really good classic sock pattern. And with that, I have this yarn that I don't really know what it's called. String of Pearls Misty Superfine. And it's a hand-painted fingering weight sock yarn. And it's in these really fun stripe colors and all these different colors. I'm glad that I'm sitting in the light today because you can actually really see a lot of these colors show up really well. Yeah, it's in a bunch of different colors. I think it's super fun. And this is actually a pretty fun blend. It's a blend of 50% alpaca, 30% merino, 10% silk, and 10% nylon. So it is a pretty fun blend of a bunch of different fibers. And this is actually a yarn that I got from one of my aunts who knits. And she's probably one of the only people, she is the only person in my family that I know that knits. So I was very happy to receive this from her. And I really want to make this into a pair of super fun, super cute, multicolored socks. So yeah, this is just would be a good project for when I don't want to work on a sweater, and it's something that I can bring on the go with me if I'm going to knit somewhere. And yeah, it's just super pretty colors. I can't get over it. But the next plan I wanted to talk about is the Berlin scarf by Suzanne Mueller, and I am knitting this in K&C Cloud Paca, and let me see if I have the color. The color is Maple Sugar. And this is another project that I already have cast on already, and I'll show you that in a minute here. This was one of the brands that they had at Joann's, and I actually bought this right before Joann's stopped accepting gift cards because I had a Joann's gift card. And when I heard that they were starting to go out of business, they only accepted gift cards for a certain amount of time before they just didn't anymore. So I bought a bunch of this because I've been wanting to try it. I think it's a pretty good alternative to like Drops Air is kind of what I compare it to. It is a blend of 28% polyamide with 14% merino wool superwash as well as 58% baby alpaca. So it is one of those blown yarns, as you can kind of see there if it's focusing, where the fibers are blown through a tube of polyamide. This is a worsted weight yarn. I didn't write down what the gauge was for the Berlin scarf, but it was not really something that I'm really concerned about because it's a scarf. And yeah, I think I mentioned that I had already cast this on. So this is what I have so far. It's just something, I cast this on in the springtime sometime, and I bought 5 balls of this. So what I'm planning on doing is knitting through 4 balls of this yarn, and then on the 5th ball working the fringes on the end. So this is what I have so far, and I'm hoping also that it stretches with blocking. But yeah, I just wanted a really big fuzzy scarf, and again, it's a project that you can kind of work on whenever, besides doing the fringes, but I'm not worrying about that yet. But yeah, I just wanted like a big kind of chunky scarf, and hopefully it'll be done by this winter to be used. I also got this in another color to knit for someone else, so that might happen at some point, or I might use it to make a sweater because I also have 5 balls, and maybe I could get away with making like a vest out of this yarn. I think would be super fun, but that's not something I'm really putting on my plans for this fall just because I don't really know what I want to do with it yet. But yeah, this is the Berlin scarf, and it already is a work in progress. It's just something that's been kind of going long term, just kind of on the back burner when I don't have the mind space to be working on anything else. So yeah, up next is another wearable, and this is the Lana vest by Irene Lynn. This is something I've been seeing a lot lately on different like YouTube knitting podcasts. One person I know who has made this is Study Knits. She made it in a really pretty white color, and I thought it was just so cute with the oversized kind of fit. So that's something that I would like to emulate as well. And the yarn that I kind of picked out from my stash for this is Malabrigo Rios, and this is in the color Plomo, or number 43. Let's see if I can hold this up here. It's this really pretty kind of muted purpley tone, and I think it'd be super, super pretty as a vest. I've had this for a while as well. I think I got it for my birthday last year. So I've had this for over a year now. And the Lana vest is an Aran weight pattern that comes in sizes 1 through 5. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, I'm planning on using this as a worsted weight, so I believe I'd size up. But I also want an oversized fit, so I might even do a size, probably a size 3. I'm planning on doing. I'd have to look at what the actual measurements are, but that's what I'd assume what size I would make. Again, kind of what I was talking about with the sweater number 15. I haven't really done cables in a actual wearable before. I have done a pillow, and then I've done a hat for a friend, but I haven't actually done like a full-on garment out of cables, I mean. So that's something that I'd like to kind of challenge myself with. I think this would be a really pretty way to do it. And even if I don't end up loving this color on me, I know I could give this to someone else and it'd be super, super pretty, especially because this is a superwash yarn. But since this is hand dyed, I might have to knit it helically, like switch balls I'm working from every round. That also kind of seems like a lot of work, so I don't know if I'll do that or not, but maybe I will, because I haven't actually worked a garment with Malabrigo before. This is something that was a treat, and I think it'll be a really pretty finished object because it's just such a pretty color. It's definitely more of a solid color, but you can definitely see the different kind of shades of purple that are kind of mixed throughout. And yeah, I just think it's super pretty. And I think that's all I have to say about that one. Up next, I wanted to talk about the sweater number 26 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is a pattern that is a DK weight pattern, and it comes in sizes extra small to 4XL, which is it's a bigger size range than some of their other sweaters, like the sweater number 15. And the yarn that I'm planning on making this with, sorry, I can't talk. The yarn I'm planning on making this sweater with is the Juniper Moon blue-faced Leicester. Hopefully I'm saying that right. The blue-faced Leicester, and this is in the color Concord. It's very similar to the Juniper Moon, the organic Patagonia organic merino, except this is a DK weight instead of a sport weight, and so pretty. Such a pretty color. I love this royal purple color. I believe I got this winter because it was on clearance. Yeah, it was $15 this game, so I got this on clearance, which I was very happy about. And yeah, the sweater number 26 is like a saddle shoulder construction, and it's a really classic looking sweater, and I just think it'd be so pretty and just like a plain one color yarn that would really just be like a staple really for whenever I would want to wear just like a big cozy sweater. I think this would be so pretty. This is such a pretty color of purple. Up next, this is something that's not a wearable, but I have this skein. This is Plymouth Galway in the color Sand Dollar, and it's this really pretty worsted weight yarn, and it has different colors of like tealish blue as well as orange. This is the yarn that I actually used to make that one other cardigan that I have. Sorry, my cat's on the table. Hi. Okay. And I didn't want to make a garment with this because I only have one skein left, so I was looking for a quick one skein project to do. I've been seeing these patterns for knitted project bags on Ravelry, or just like knitted pouches in general, and that's something that I've been wanting to make. I haven't really spent any money on like actual like knitting project bags, so all of my knitting projects are kind of just in random totes or just random bags that I kind of have laying around. So I think it'd be fun to knit a project bag to use for like socks or accessories or something like that. So I have two picked out that I kind of wanted to talk about that I really enjoyed, that I'm kind of trying to decide between, and that's the Arco Project Bag by Ann Hids and the 0603 Project Bag, and this is by Diane Nanda. The Arco Project Bag is just a really simple pouch, just two rectangles, I believe, that are kind of seamed together, possibly. I'd have to look at the construction again. And then they have like a drawstring that is going to be like woven through to close the bag. And that comes in 3 different sizes, so I think that's pretty helpful. And that is an Aran weight pattern. And then the 0603 Project Bag is created in worsted weight, which is technically what this is, but I figured this could be used for Aran as well. Like, it doesn't matter that much because it's a bag. But the 0603 Project Bag is a little bit more complicated as far as a little bag goes, because you create the base first, and then I believe you pick up stitches and work around to create it from there to have more of a 3D shape in the bag. And then it also has like a drawstring closure. So I don't really know which one of these that I want to pick yet, but I want to make one of these because I think it'd be super fun. I also think this could be something that I could use as a stash buster for just random skeins of worsted weight that I have lying around, and could possibly use for gifts. I don't know if they'd be good for like a little sunglasses pouch, or I don't really know what else you could really put in there. I'm sure you can put anything, but I might make some of these as a gifts at some point, but I actually don't know. Both of these patterns are free too, I believe, which is a pretty, I'd say that's a bonus, because then you don't have to spend like $8 on a pattern. But yeah, that is what I have to talk about with that one. Okay. Up next is another garment, and this is a pattern that I've also seen a lot. I know, I believe Knits by Mandy on YouTube made this as well, and I really love the way hers turned out. But this is a Lonely Leftovers vest by Wool and Beyond. This is an Aran weight pattern, and it comes in sizes extra small to 4XL. And I have 2 different yarn options that I could possibly use for this. Grabbing really quick here. First, I have another kind of sweater's quantity worth or garment quality of Malabrigo Mecca, which is Malabrigo's bulky weight, but it seems more like an Aran than a bulky. It doesn't really seem like a full-on bulky weight to me. I believe I have 4 skeins of this, and this is in the color 336 or Tasty. Again, this is hand dyed, I believe, so it is something that I'd have to think about doing helical knitting or something like that. But I don't know how much I love this color on me, but I would like to use it up eventually for something. And it is really soft. Yeah, I just hit myself in the face with that. But yeah, this is a really pretty color. It's kind of like a tealish, different colors of green and bluish colors going through there. There's a little close-up of it here. Yeah, really pretty yarn. However, something else that I have that was given to me that I inherited, I don't have any of the yarn labels for it, so I don't know exactly what it's called, but it looks a lot like Plotalope. I believe that's what it's called. It's like that unspun wool, and I feel like if I held this double, it would be super, super pretty as a vest. And this is a little bit scratchier too. It's more of a rustic yarn, so I feel like if I made something like the Lonely Leftovers vest with it, it would be like a over the top kind of garment instead of just like completely touching skin. So this might be better for something that might actually be touching skin. But yeah, it's something I have to think about. But yeah, I have a bunch of plates of this. Yeah, I don't know if this is Plotalope or if this is something else, but I believe it's a wool. Feels like a wool. And I have probably 5 or 6 plates of this that I feel like would be really pretty as just like a single color Lonely Leftovers vest. I know it's meant for like scrap busting and stuff like that, but I'd kind of rather have it all be one color because I like the more simple kind of design. So yeah, I think this is a really pretty maroon-ish color, and I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but I'm not entirely sure yet. so I guess we'll see. Again, if I even get to any of these plans, I don't know if I will. And then finally, I have one more plan, and that is the Harriet sweater by Lana. It's this really pretty color work sweater that only has like one portion of color work around the body, I believe. I'd have to look at the picture again, but I just know I love it. And this is a DK weight sweater, and it comes in sizes extra small to 5XL. And I have yarn for this, like I do all these other sweaters, but I'll show you here. So I actually showed you this in my last video with my acquisitions with the yarn store that was closing down because the owner was retiring. That is the Cascade 220 Superwash, and this is in the color chocolate. It's this really pretty dark brown. And this is a worsted weight, but I feel like I could just have a slightly larger gauge and then have like a little oversized sweater. I think it'd be super cute. I think I have 4 balls of this, I think. With the yarn store closing, all of this yarn is 50% off, so I got this for a really good deal. And yeah, so this I'd like to hold as the main color in the sweater and most of the body. For the color work part, I have actually almost 2 balls, it's a little less than 2 balls of Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino. And this was the first time I had ever tried this yarn. I actually bought this for a different sweater. I made the sweater number 18, I believe it's what it's called. And this is in the color Elderflower. It's this really pretty kind of off-white, warm off-white color. So I would love to have this as the main body, and then the color work motif. I think having almost 2 balls of this should be enough for all the color work. I think it'd be a really good way to use up the rest of this in a special sweater. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about this. This is one that I really want to make with this yarn specifically. I really want to make this. I think it would be so stunning. So if I had to pick ones that I'm like for sure wanting to make, of course my Eva cardigan, the holiday doodle stockings, and the Berlin scarf are ones that I'm working on currently. Other than that, if I had to pick 2 more sweaters that I could realistically get done, I think it would be the sweater number 15 and the Harriet sweater. Those 2 are the ones that I'm most wanting to make out of all of these. Of course, I want to make all of these at some point, but as far as sweaters go, I think those 2 are the ones I'm going to be prioritizing trying to do this fall, because they're the ones I'm most excited about. But yeah, that is all the plans that I picked out for this video. And of course, I still have a bunch more yarn, and yeah, just let me know if this is something that you like seeing how I can pick yarn from my stash and pick projects for it. I'm a person that generally buys yarn in just sweater quantity, so I know I can use it for a sweater without knowing what sweater I want to make. So it is fun to kind of imagine and pair different yarns with different patterns that I could possibly make in the future. Because all of this yarn is yarn that I do love, and I do want to use it at some point. But yeah, I just want to work on making stuff with the yarn that I already have before buying more from this point on. So let's see if I hold myself to that. But from this point on, I do want to work on stuff from stash, at least until hopefully Christmas time, when maybe I'll get yarn for Christmas or something like that. Of course, if I need yarn to finish any of these projects, I'll probably buy the 1 ball I need or something like that, you know. But other than that, I would like to just work with what I have. Thank you so much for watching. If you did stick with me this far, I really enjoy kind of talking about what I want to work on in the future, and I'd love to know what everyone else's plans are if you are watching this. But yeah, hopefully stay tuned through this fall to see if I do end up making this kind of stuff, and hopefully at the end of the fall/winter I can kind of discuss how I did with these plans, and if I ended up actually making the stockings, if I could finish that by Christmas kind of work. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.